Lady podcast. My name is Kay and I'm coming to you from Havelock, North Carolina, where I live with my husband, our 2 sons, and our 2 dogs. And it is Wednesday, May 10th. It's about 8:30 in the morning. This is my podcast about knitting and occasionally some crochet thrown in there as well. I do want to give a welcome to any new viewers who are joining me for the first time. I hope that you enjoy the podcast, and a huge welcome back to all of my returning viewers. Thank you so much for choosing to spend a little bit of time with me every few weeks. I really appreciate it. So today we have a pretty full episode. I guess I should say where you should find me. That might be nice, huh? You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as The Crazy Sock Lady. There is also a podcast group on Ravelry. You can go there and in the groups tab, search Crazy Sock Lady Podcast and it should pop right up. That's where you're going to find any information about knit-alongs, giveaways, show notes for the episodes will be in there. There is a coupon codes thread, which I had this in my notes and I will go ahead and mention it now since I've spoken about it. The coupon code thread has quite a few new coupons in there, so be sure to head over to the group and check that out if you're wanting to do some shopping. There's some yarn dyers, bag makers. They have coupon codes in there for you guys, so check them out. A few that I just jotted down that have codes in there right now are Etsy shops Amelia X Joy, Woolly Bags, Daisy Girl and Company, Designs by Kadash. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, but she has a coupon code in there that is specifically for sock blanks, and her sock blanks are gorgeous. I may have to take advantage of this code and order myself another because I am really enjoying sock blanks, as you guys know if you follow me on Instagram. I've actually got 2 finished objects today to show you that are sock blanks. And that kind of brings us to our knit-alongs that are going on right now. We do have the sock blank along going on still, and that ends May 31st. That's anything that you knit from a sock blank. It does have to be completely knit from the blank. Then we also have our Sock Crazy Cal for 2017. That's a year-long knit-along for any socks that you make, other than baby socks. Those do not count, but any other socks, be sure to get those entered into that thread, and we do a drawing every 3 months throughout this year for that knit along. And I think that pretty much covers our admin stuff. Hi guys, this is Future K popping in here because as I was editing, it's a bit later if you can't tell, costume change, I've got my glasses on, I'm nice and comfy, but as I was editing I realized I forgot to mention a few things in admin. So I wanted to pop in here and make sure that I mentioned those so that they didn't get forgotten. First, I forgot to mention that there is another Swapless Swap open in the group. This has been open for a little while, but I forgot to mention it last podcast too, hence I'm having to make sure I get it mentioned today. This is being hosted by Lisa of Sock Yarn Swappers. Same concept as the other Swapless Swaps that we have had in the group. The dyer for this one is the Yarn Enabler. And there have been some date changes. So if you have already signed up, this will, affect going forward. But if you have not signed up yet, this doesn't really pertain to you because you're just going to go and you're going to see the new dates. But the dates have changed for the swap due to some things going on in Amanda of Yarn Enabler's life. If you follow her on Instagram, you may know the details of her. She had to have surgery and some things. So the dates have been pushed back a bit for the Swapless Swap. It is now, money is due by August 15th. Minis will ship by September 15th. So I believe that pushes it back 1 month. There are still 37 spots available. So let's get those filled, guys. There's a lot of spots left if you want some minis. They will be half self-striping, half variegated. $35 for US residents, $40 for Canadian residents, $45 for pretty much all other international residents. So 10 colorways, half self-striping, half variegated, 40-yard minis. That's about 10 grams. Go get signed up for that if you want some minis. And also the minis that I showed from Row 1 Yarn. Those, we have a giveaway going on right now for a month of those. So be sure to head over to the group. I'm going to keep that open until the next time that I podcast, since this is the first time that it's been mentioned on the podcast. So head over there, get signed up if you want to win a month subscription from Row 1 Yarn, and sign up for the Yarn Enabler Swapless Swap. So that is what I forgot. I'm going to turn you back over to Future K now. First, I know I'm going to have some questions. So my shirt says, "Blame it all on my West Virginia roots." And that is from threadandgrain.com. So check her out. I get quite a bit of my t-shirts from her because they're always so cute. All right, so I'm going to turn you back over to Future K now, who doesn't look quite so ridiculous. She looks a little bit more put together. So bye, guys. I have 4 finished objects to show you guys today. One is a very, very tiny finished object, but it still counts because it is something I have started and finished since the last time we chatted. So first up, I am going to show you, shocker of all shockers, a pair of socks. Bet you never guessed. If you follow me on Instagram, you have seen these. Look at those. I am in love with these socks. These were for the sock blank along, and this was a sock blank from Wolfiend, and it was a one-of-a-kind rainbow sock blank. It started with the pink, went into the orange, the yellow, the green, blue, and then if you'll see on the end here, I have a wee little bit of purple in there, and that's the color that it ended with. So what I did with these, I did my normal, for all of my socks that are for myself, which lately have been quite a few, I do a 64 stitch count on US 1 2.25 millimeter. So for the socks that I'm going to show today, that's what I'm using. Now for these, I did 20 row cuff, slip stitch heel flap, and gusset, and my standard rounded toe. I started out with the pink, just started working through the blank, got into the orange. My original thought was I would have pink, orange, and yellow for this, green, blue, and purple for this. But as I kept going on this one, I was like, oh my gosh, there's a lot more of at least these 2 colors than I kind of thought there would be. So I just did the pink and the orange, and then I did some yarn management. I pulled out the rest of the orange, wound it up on a little business card. I keep those handy for winding yarn around. And then I decided just to do a yellow toe so that I would still have my 3 collars. So my thought with this one was then I would do a green and blue and then a purple toe. As you can see, that did not work out. There was not as much green as there was pink, which is not a big deal at all. I just did green, blue, finished with a wee little bit of purple, and then did a yellow toe. So I know they're matching pairs because they have matching toes. And they're super cute. I'm very, very, very happy with how these turned out. Absolutely love them. Sock blanks are just, I don't know, I think that's the fun of it. You don't know what's going to happen. Like my original plans did not work at all, but look how fun they look. They are just great. So I had a lot of fun doing those, and then I finished the other pair of socks that I had started for the sock blank knit along. Now I do still have 2 sock blanks in my hutch over there, but I don't know that I'm going to start them just yet, just because I have 2 other sock whips that I'm going to show you, and I'm going to be starting the Hohi mystery knit along for the wrap that she has coming out, and that starts Friday. So I'm going to be starting that, and that's a pretty big project. But we'll see. I may start the other one, and I don't know that I'll get them done before the end of May, but maybe. So the next one that I did is a sock blank from Gail's Art. And these ones are fun because they kind of look different. Look at these. There was definitely more of like a darker gray for this one. And then for this, there was definitely more white. But I really like them. I mean, you can obviously tell they're matching, I think. They look the same, but a little bit different. But again, that's the fun of sock blanks. You're really not going to get 2 matching socks. They do what they want. You just kind of have to go with the flow, I think. But I really enjoyed these as well. And I did them the same as I did the other. 20 row cuff, leg was 66 rows, slip stitch heel flap, gusset, rounded toe. Same as always. The next finished object that I'm going to show you is my itty bitty tiny finished object that I finished for my April ornament. And this is for the Naughty Knitwits, their Stuff It Along and Year of Ornaments by Molly of A Homespun House and Amber of Maker's Haven. So I found a pattern on Ravelry, and it is the We Hats pattern by Kim Pretz, I believe is how you say it. I'll put it down here, and there'll also be a link to my projects page in the show notes. I should say that as well. For any works in progress or finished objects that you see, there will be links in the show notes to my projects page. On there you'll find needle sizes, any notes I made about the pattern changes that were made. Anything you could want should be in those show notes. If not, just leave your question in the show notes and I'm happy to answer any questions. So this is my wee little hat. Look how cute that is. Now for this, I just used some leftover sock yarn. It used nothing at all. I mean, the tiniest bit of sock yarn. And I didn't do as many rows before the decreases. So this one I've actually got folded over. That's what it looked like. And I just thought that looked a little long. So I didn't even do as many rows as the pattern stated, but the amount of rows that I did is in my projects page if you're interested in doing the same thing. And I used a US 1 2.25 millimeter. So what I did, since I thought it seemed a little bit long, I didn't do as many rows before the decreases. I stopped a few rows short, I believe. And next time I'll do even less. But I do kind of like the folded, not really rolled, but the folded brim look. So yeah, there's my April ornament. This will go in my box and then it'll go on my Christmas tree come November when we put our tree up after Thanksgiving. So my fourth finished object is my hitchhiker shawl. This is a pattern by Martina Bem, and I finished this right in time. I got this blocked and everything and ready to go for Austin's basketball banquet, which was my goal. And I did use all but 8 grams of my main yarn, and the main yarn is by Meg of Bad Wolf Girl Studios in her Galaxy colorway. And then I added in some black, and it does have a little bit of stellina. I don't know that it's really picking up on the camera, but it is just a Knit Picks Stroll Glimmer in black. So I added that in at the end just to give it just a little bit of a touch of something else other than just having one color. But I am super happy with how this turned out. And it is very, very long. I really don't know that it needed to be blocked. I think it would have been just fine, not blocked at all. But it turned out nice. And I like that this is something you can just kind of wear as a scarf, or you could tie it around a certain way to wear it as a shawl. I think I'm going to be doing some Christmas gifts with this pattern. No, I'm not very good at styling these things, I don't feel like, but I really like it. And I didn't even end up wearing it. I took it with me the day of Austin's basketball banquet. My goal was to wear it with my outfit. Well, my original outfit I didn't even end up wearing that I was going to wear this with. It still would have matched my dress, but it was 86 degrees. It was so hot. I knew I wouldn't need it outside since it was 86 degrees, but I took it with me in case I needed it inside, and I didn't even end up needing it inside. It was kind of warm in there. So on the way home, the ferry, it was dark. It was a little bit of a breeze blowing, so I did end up getting to kind of cover up with it then. So it got worn. It just didn't get as much wear that day as I had anticipated, but we are heading into summer here in the South, and there's not going to be a lot of shawl wearing going on. So everything is going to kind of get put away as it's made for next fall, but not even really the fall because it's still pretty toasty here in the fall. For next winter, I must say I would enjoy living somewhere where I got a little bit more wear time out of my knitted objects. We're definitely not going to get that here in North Carolina. I have not worn knitted socks in a while. I have worn a few of my shawls occasionally when it's been chilly in the mornings, especially if I have to do an early morning ferry ride for any reason. I throw my shawl on, or just to take the boys to the bus stop, or if the air conditioning gets me in the house. The AC always gets me. I get so cold. So yeah, I will get a little bit of use out of them, but mostly I think my knitted items are just going to be put away for next winter. My cozy blanket is what gets the most use because it's so big and I can just kind of cover up with it. Anyways, All right, that's all I have for finished objects. I say that's all, but that was 4 items, you guys. That was a finished shawl, 2 pairs of socks, and a little tiny hat. Now, granted, I think all of those but the hat were works in progress last time, so I just finished things in between last time and now. But I have also started some things, so we should probably chat about a few works in progress. Only 2. Are you guys shocked? Only 2 works in progress. That's all I have to show today. I'm kind of shocked. Do you guys like my new mug? I saw this at Walmart yesterday. This is Pioneer Woman. I love Ree Drummond, Pioneer Woman. And I saw this yesterday and I love the red. So I had to have it. I've just got some mint tea today. Nothing crazy. It's just, I think that's just a Target brand. Simply Balanced Mint. Mint is one of my favorite teas. It is delicious. All right, first I'm going to show you a pair of socks. Actually, they're both socks. Yeah, 2 sock whips. This is in my Daisy Girl & Company bag, and I love this. I love having this when I go to the bus stop. I don't stand in knit or walk in knit with it, which is probably its intended purpose, but I love just throwing it over my arm when I'm going to the car and getting back out. It just makes it easy. All right, so in here I have my Union Square socks. This is a new pattern by Mina Phillip of the Knitting Expat podcast. And these are ready for the heel, but I think I'm going to do a true afterthought heel by the Curvy Wurvy YouTube video. That's how I like to do my afterthought heels. So I just need to count my rows, make sure I'm at the right point to put in the heel, and then continue on for the foot. So this is what I have so far. Let me kind of stretch it out there. It is a ribbed eyelet pattern. Look how pretty that is. And it works so well with striping yarn. Look at that. It doesn't hide the stripes. I don't know. It is great for self-striping yarn. There's the back and straight stockinette. So the yarn that I'm using, this top color is Knit Picks Stroll Fingering in the mint colorway. And then the striping is Knit Picks Felici in the Saltwater Taffy colorway. So I will do the heels and toes in the mint. And I think this will be a good spot right about where I am to put a marker in for the heel, so I can go back later and cut the knitting and do an afterthought heel, which is so much fun. And I am doing these on DPNs. See this, guys? I've got this on my Knitter's Pride Carbons DPNs. This is the first time I've done socks on DPNs in a while, but I must say I kind of love it. I miss doing them on DPNs. I just think it's fun. I don't know. And I've been flying on this sock. I just started this when the pattern came out on May 1st. And I have worked on other things in the meantime, finished other socks, but I think that's a good bit. I have a little chocolate chip cookie progress keeper on there that a viewer of the podcast sent me. So that is my first work in progress. Moving right along. These are going to be my May socks for the Naughty Knitwits Socket year-long knit-along that they're having. So these are going to take a top priority. Now that I've got both of my sock blank socks off the needles, I'm going to focus more on those. Next, I have another sock work in progress to show you, and this is in my Wizard of Oz bag from Stitching You bags. With the, I just have to show this every time because it's so much fun, with the yellow brick road on the inside. And Eric got this for me for my birthday. And I have a pair of socks for Eric in here. The yarn that I'm using for his socks is one that I showed last time as an acquisition. This is the Opal Sweet and Spicy. I'm guessing blueberry. I don't know. It has blueberries on it. So this is the yarn that I'm using. And it's ready for the heel. So I'm just going to do a slip stitch heel flap and then a heel turn and a gusset for these. So I just need to get those popped right in. And look how fun this is working up. I don't know, I might finish, because this stripe right here is going to be like this. So I may finish this stripe and then do a heel. So his leg, I usually do about 7 inches before I do the heel. I think I'll just finish this stripe out and then go into his heel. Make it look a little bit neater maybe instead of stopping mid-stripe. So I'll have a little bit of a longer leg, but he won't mind. I've got my taco progress keeper from Sucre Miniatures on there, which I'll need to move that up so I'll know where I was last time I showed you guys. Should have done that on my other one as well, I guess. I'm so bad about remembering to do that. And as you can see, I've got this on DPNs as well. These are just some Clover Bamboo DPNs. This and the other ones, US 1 2.25 millimeter, my usual. And I really like bamboo needles. I know a lot of people find them too grippy. I think that's just a personal preference. You're either going to find them too grippy or you're not. I don't find them too grippy. I really enjoy it. So the pattern that I'm doing on these socks, I've certainly not reinvented the wheel with this. I mean, this is just a standard rib sock. I cast on 64 stitches for his. That's just what works for him. And it works for me too, so it's nice. I don't have to remember to do a different stitch count. So US 64, and I did knit 2, purl 2 ribbing for the cuff, 20 rows. And then when I got to the leg, I started doing knit 3, purl 1. So it's just gonna be a nice ribbed sock. And then when I get to the foot, I'll just do the ribbing along the top and straight stockinette on the bottom. So yes, these are moving right along. He likes them. They'll obviously be put away for when the weather turns a bit colder again. But I'm hoping to get a few pairs of socks done for him this summer because he really enjoys them, and he wore them to West Virginia and he showed them off. So I'm like, okay, well, he obviously really does enjoy them, so I need to make him more. I know that Amber of Yarn Junkie is having a year-long knit-along to knit your significant other socks. And I believe there's an actual name for it, but it's totally escaping my mind right now. So maybe I will enter these and any others that I do for Eric into that. That's all I'm going to show for works in progress today. I do have, the only other active thing that I have other than Scrappy blankets is Austin's Golden State Warriors blanket. That I have 50, trying to look, I can see the pattern over there. His blanket, I have just a little over 60 rows left. So not too much longer. I'm not going to bring it over and show today just because it's insane at the point that it's at. There are so many little, because what I do when I get to a different color is, you know, wind off a little bit of yarn instead of having full skeins when I have so many different colors going. Yeah, it would be a mess to try to pull everything over here, hold it up. I would end up so tangled. So I'm not going to bring it over and show you today. I will try to show it next time. I'm hoping I'll be done with all color work next time and just be on the blue, and then it'll be a lot easier to show because I'll be ready to just zip right through the last section where it's all one color. And if you're new to the podcast, the Golden State Warriors blanket that I'm doing for my son is a Tunisian crochet blanket. I will insert a picture here. This is actually the last picture that I took where it was laid out and you could really see the picture, and I've done so much since then, so I need to try to get another shot of it in progress, but it's so big and there's so much yarn coming from the back, it's hard to get a picture. So here I will insert a picture of what it looked like last time I took a picture. And yeah, it's going. He's happy with it. He's ready to have it. I wanted to try to have it done in April. It just did not work out. I kind of got to the halfway point and then I put it away when my sister came and I just hit a wall with it. I was like, oh dear. So I'm past that wall. I'm moving right along. I'm trying to kind of organize my day with my knitting, so that way that I actually do get work on it done as well as work on other projects, so that maybe I don't hit that burnout level with it again. So in the mornings I've been working on that, and then after lunch I kind of switched to working on socks or whatever else I want to work on. So it's kind of working out. I'm getting work done on it. 60, just a little over 60 rows left. It's getting there. I'm ready to have it done. I've really enjoyed it. I love doing Tunisian crochet blankets, but it gets to the point where you have so much stuff everywhere. You have to really have, you know, a little area you can spread out and you can leave it out. If you have a lot of collars going, it's not something you can kind of shove in a basket and put away. So it takes up a lot of space. I'm ready to have it cleaned up and kind of have my area back to some normalcy, I guess. Since it's the first podcast in May, that means it's time for us to chat about what scrappy projects I have on my needles right now. So first up, let's talk about cozy memories. I have gotten a good bit of work done on this since the last time you saw it. I worked on it a lot in April. So I am holding it, first let me show you this, in a bag from Bags by Awesome Granny. Love this bag. It's huge. I've got so much stuff in this bag. And then my blanket fits on the top. It's a huge bag. So like I said, I've gotten a lot of work done on this, and I caught up with all of my ends the other day, other than the ones that are on the very edge of the blanket. Because what I do is I wait, show you the back side. Like for the green square here, I would have finished this square, then finished these 3 squares to make sure that the corners were covered, and then sewed in any ends that I had. Let me show you here. Look how big it has gotten. It's huge. So I squared off this section like I had wanted to. Then what I did is went back to my starting square, which was this, and I've started going out in different ways. So my first square came down this way, then from this point I started one that goes this way, and then this way. So they'll all be going different directions now. So I've got a lot done on this, you guys. I am up to, let me see how many squares total I have in my blanket. I have 109 total squares in my blanket. I've only done one so far in May. How many did I do in April? Let's see. I did 30 squares in April. So this little book comes in handy. I know how many I've done every month, and I kind of been hemming and hawing about whether to continue this, but I decided to. Why not? I've already started it. So I'm glad I got a good chunk of work done on this, and I just love it, you guys. This blanket is so much fun. Wyatt said he wants it for his room, and I'm like, well, we'll just leave it in the living room, and anybody can use it when they're in the living room. So, because I want to use it. I want to use my blanket. So I think this is just going to go over the back of the couch so that anybody will be able to use it. The pattern that I use for this is the Coziest Memory by Kemper Ray. I think that's one that quite a few people use. All right, next I have my corner to corner crochet blanket, and I have this in a bag that was from a friend. We did a swap and she gifted me this bag. So in here I have a huge magic knot yarn ball. It's huge. It's not quite as big as it was. It was like 190 grams when I weighed it. It's pretty big magic knot yarn ball. And I have my corner to corner crochet blanket. And look at that. So I'm still going. I have no idea how big I'm going to make this. None whatsoever. I mean, it's almost wide enough now that I could start going down and make it rectangular if I wanted. But I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to do it. But I am really enjoying this. This is so easy. to just sit and go. I love this for fairy knitting because I don't have to worry about stopping in the middle of the row. What I do is I have one of these locking stitch markers. So I just pop that in there. It locks the stitch so that it's not going to come undone, and it holds my spot. This is just so much fun, you guys. Scrappy projects are the best. So what I've been doing is I, obviously use the yarn for whatever project I'm doing. Then I put a square in my Cozy Memories, and then whatever is left, I put it in here. And I do it with any minis that I get from people as well. I first put them in my Cozy Memories, and then any little bits go in here. Now this yarn that I'm doing right now, I'm on my 3rd row of it. There was quite a bit, and I did that with a few that I had left, because look how much purple and gray I still have. I guess I didn't really think too much of it. I could have probably got a few minis out of that purple yarn for someone, but I want to crochet on this, and I want there to be a good bit of yarn to put in it, so I just wound it all on here. So is that going to look really weird if I have a huge chunk of the purple and gray? Because I probably have at least another row. I don't think it will. I mean, I don't care. It's scrappy, so it's supposed to look crazy. So I don't know, but I did that with a few yarns. Like what I had left of my Wolfine sock blank is in here. But it was kind of in crazy chunks of yarn because I had done so much yarn management with those socks to get them to kind of look the way I wanted and to both have yellow toes. So I put a square in my Cozy Memories, and then I put the rest in here. So some I have little tiny bits of, just a few grams, and then others like this purple and gray yarn, which I think is a Deborah Norville yarn from Joann's. There's a good bit of, but oh well, I truly don't think I mind. I mean, it's not like I've tried to do any certain amount for each one that I've had so far. Some have more than one row and some don't. All right, that finishes up our scrappy segment. Next up, I'm going to show you guys some stuff that I received in the mail. Okay, first I'm going to show you, I'm going to try to go in order of how I received them to keep them straight in my head. I got a message from Denise of Yoshi and Lucy, and she has an Etsy store, and she also has a podcast. Here's her card. And she has gorgeous yarn, you guys. So she sent me these 2 beauties. One to give away on the podcast or use as a prize, and another to keep for myself. So this one is Mercedes. That's the base that is on. The color is Dark Night, and the Mercedes base is an 80-20 blend, a superwash BFL and nylon. I love this with the blue. You've got blue, yellow, blacks. It's gorgeous. So this is what I would normally, like this I would say is in my normal color palette of what I tend to gravitate towards when I buy yarn. And this would actually probably make some great socks for Eric. But I think I'm gonna keep this. I shouldn't do that. I keep saying I need to be more mindful and get some yarns for socks for Eric. So really I should probably go for this. But I think I'm gonna keep this. This is on her Isabel base, and this is a 75-25 superwash merino nylon blend, and the colorway is Georgia Peach. It is just this gorgeous color with some speckles in there. This is not something I would normally gravitate towards, and I would also like to start getting yarns that are maybe out of my comfort zone. So I don't end up, I've got so many yarns in there that are so similar because I tend to just go for the same colors. So I'm trying to be mindful of that as well, because there are times where it's like, oh, I'd love to do like this. I think would make some amazing kind of lacy socks, maybe the Mercury socks. I don't know. I think this would look great in something like that. But when I want to do socks like that, I don't tend to have a lot of those yarns. I have a lot of darker yarns. the same shades of blues, purples, and greens, which are my favorite colors and I love them, but I do want to try to maybe step out of my comfort zone just a little bit and have a little bit of fun. So I don't know, I'm torn, you guys. Do I get this and make socks for Eric, or do I get this, be selfish, and make socks for myself? I don't know, they're both gorgeous. I don't know which one I'm going to keep, but one of them will be going into the prize drawer when I can make up my mind. And Denise also sent us some cute little pins. So one for myself, and then one will be going with the other skein of yarn into the prize drawer. So thank you so much, Denise, for sending those. I'm so happy that I get to try out your yarn. It's one that has been on my list of want to buys for a while. Next, I have a surprise skein of yarn. I had no idea this was coming. So Amy from Little Tailoress, she has a podcast. She has an Etsy store where she sells yarn and also sewing patterns. I received this package. I had no idea, like, who is this from? I'm not expecting anything today. Well, when I opened it, first I opened up the card. It is this adorable card. Look at that. Life is a bowl of cherries. Adorable. So I open it and I'm like, first I just looked to see who it was from. And I'm like, it's from Amy. Like, what did Amy send me? So I'm reading through the card. Amy and I have been talking about Breaking Bad. I've mentioned on the podcast on previous episodes that I have been watching Breaking Bad, which I finished. I'm very sad it's done. I'm not completely satisfied with the final episode. So I feel like I'm in mourning. I'm like, I don't know what to watch on TV now. I don't know. But anyways, Amy and I had chatted about our Breaking Bad obsessions, just about different things about the show. And she got inspired to dye a skein of yarn. So if you are not familiar with Breaking Bad, I definitely, oops, I'm knocking stuff over. I definitely don't feel that it is a show that is for everybody maybe, but it is an amazingly well-written show. Eric watched this as it was coming out, and most of it, I think there were a few seasons that he caught up with on Netflix or something, and then he watched it as it was coming out. I would catch bits and pieces here and there, but because I hadn't started from the beginning and didn't know the whole storyline, I was just kind of like, oh, I don't know that I'll like that. I don't know what's going on. I would annoy him pretty much because I would be like, who's that? And what are they doing? And why are they doing that? And so starting it from the beginning, I did not intend to do. He had been watching Better Call Saul, which is a spinoff from Breaking Bad. And then he's like, I need to watch Breaking Bad again because I don't remember some of these characters. So he started it again, and I happened to be sitting there knitting in the living room when the first episode started. Then I was hooked. It is, I won't go into a crazy amount of detail to give too much away. Breaking Bad is about Walter White, who finds out that he is dying of lung cancer. He is a high school chemistry teacher, married with a son and a baby on the way, and he finds out he's dying of lung cancer. He does not want to leave his family with nothing, with no money. He knows he's going to die. He does not want to leave them with no money. A lot of things happen to get him to the point where he decides to do this, but he basically partners up with one of his previous students of his high school chemistry class, and they start cooking meth. And he just becomes this mastermind behind this form, this type of meth that he creates. And it just goes, I just don't know, it's so following his story, and you get so sucked into his story if he's doing this for his family, and then seeing the way that it can change people, or maybe the way it brings out who they really were all along. It's just definitely a very interesting and well-written story, an amazing cast. I would highly recommend it. Give it a try. Like I said, I don't think it's probably for everybody, but it's great. My mother-in-law and my father-in-law loved it, and I never in a million years thought that they would love it. but it's one that I could not wait to watch every day. So this is the yarn that Amy came up with, inspired by Breaking Bad. It is called Wanna Cook, and it is on her 75-25 blend of superwash BFL and nylon. And if you have watched Breaking Bad, you will know that the blue is inspired by the meth that Walt and Jesse cook. And then there is some black and green that is inspired by the periodic table on the show's credits. And I love it. I am shocked I have not caked this up and cast this on yet, because I feel like this will be the perfect kind of comfort knit to be like, oh, I've finished all the seasons, the show is over. I need to, this will help my morning maybe, I think. So Amy, I've already thanked you, but thank you so much. This was such a surprise to get, and it is perfect. It is absolutely perfect. So there are going to be some Breaking Bad socks very soon. I did like a search on Ravelry. I thought, well, maybe somebody has a pattern inspired by Breaking Bad or something. No, I mean, there was a few, but no sock patterns. And this is definitely going to be a pair of socks for myself. I'm going to be selfish with this. I'm sure Eric would love this too, but this is mine. He is not getting this. So yes, these are going to be some Breaking Bad socks, because I don't know what to do with my life now that I finished the show. Next, I have an order that I placed with Adelaide Cottage. Look at this yarn. It is gorgeous, and this is in her Toasty Sock base, which is an 80-20 blend superwash merino and nylon, and it is the Atlantis colorway. I love this colorway. The blues and the purples, it's perfect. So I have no idea what this is going to be, but it's gorgeous. And Shauna also sent a little mini in here, and this is Caribbean Bridesmaid. And I kind of thought that they go together. I don't know, I didn't weigh this, but I don't think there'd be enough to do heels or anything. Maybe, I don't know, probably not enough to do anything for 2 socks. What do you think? Enough for toes for 2 socks, maybe? Have to do some weighing and see, because I think they do go pretty well together. So she sent a little mini, and then she also sent some wool wash, and this is in her Baking Day scent, and this is made by her, and it smells amazing. I cannot wait to use it. It smells so good. So thank you, Shauna, for including this in the little mini. I was so excited to get those. Last thing I received in the mail was from Joanna of the Gnome Knitter. And I had to order these. I had been eyeing one of these for so long. It was ridiculous. So I finally was like, I'm getting it. Just did it. And I'm very happy that I did. And I cannot wait to use it. So the first thing, this is the one I've been eyeing for forever, is a little progress keeper that's biscuits and grape jelly. Look at that. How cute is that? Biscuits and grape jelly have always been one of my favorite things. Anytime we have like a big breakfast with the biscuits, I have to have a biscuit with grape jelly. I have to. My kids laugh at me because they're like, nobody else wants jelly with their biscuits. Nope, I'm the only one. So yeah, I had to have this. I've always loved biscuits and grape jelly. Next up, this was kind of an impulse. I went to get that, and then I saw a slice of pizza, and I was like, I want a pizza stitch marker. So I got one. Slice of pizza. Well, I guess it's a progress keeper, but yeah, I had to have it. So I got a little slice of pizza. So those are my 2 goodies from the Gnome Knitter. And if you have not checked out her shop, you need to, because her stuff is absolutely adorable. All right, so that kind of finishes up the podcast for today. Pretty quick one, I would say. There's just a tiny bit of chatter today. We haven't really been doing anything too crazy. So let's see. since the last time we've chatted, we had Austin's basketball banquet. That was fun. It was very well put together. The kids enjoyed it. They had it catered by a small local restaurant. So we had some fried chicken and biscuits, and it was good. Good food. And we all had to get dressed up, which does not happen very often. So it was cute to get to see the boys in their tie and their bow tie. I'll be sure to put some pictures in at the end of the podcast, or at the beginning somewhere. There will be pictures of us at his, or getting ready to go to his basketball banquet. Austin won the coaches award, and we were so proud of him and shocked. We had no idea he was winning. He had no idea he was winning. So that was great. The boys had voted who was most valuable player, most improved, because she has a son on the team. So she didn't think it was fair that she picked those. So she let the kids vote. And then when they voted, she was like, well, I would have picked somebody completely different. So she chose, for both teams that she coached, because she coached Austin's team and then the middle school team as well, she picked a coach's award. So Austin won the one for the elementary school team. So that was really great to get to see him win that award, and he was so shocked and excited. So we were super proud of Austin. Then yesterday I had a field day for the boys' school. They did K through 5 yesterday. They went to Camp Seafarer, which is a camp right on the Neuse River, and it was gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it was everything you think of when you think of camp, because they do summer camps here, week-long camps, day camps, all kinds of stuff. There were cabins everywhere. Absolutely gorgeous. And the boys had a blast. I actually chaperoned for Wyatt's class, so I only saw Austin occasionally throughout the day, and I think he played basketball all day long. He did the archery, and he shot the BB guns, and then he played basketball. That's all he did. There was canoeing, there was water slide, there was zip lining. Austin played basketball, but he had fun. That's what he wanted to do. So it's his field day, you know, he can do what he wants. But I was shocked he didn't do that many other things. Him and his friends just played basketball all day long. So he had a blast. Wyatt did canoeing, the water slide, refused to do zip lining. He had no interest whatsoever in zip lining. I think the main thing was they zip lined off the top of where the water slide was, and then at the end they went down and into the water. That's where the zip line stopped. He was like, nope, don't want to do that. But yeah, he had fun, and he had a little bit of a sore throat this morning. So I'm wondering if water activities was really a great idea yesterday, because it was chilly and cloudy and not a very warm day. So hopefully he's not going to get sick on me. But they're off of school today. They were both pretty tired yesterday. I was tired yesterday. I went to bed at 8:30 last night because I was so exhausted from chaperoning field day. It was exhausting. Yeah, exhausting. I had 4 boys in my group. 4 boys canoeing and water sliding and shooting BB guns and bows and arrows. They were well behaved. It's not they're bad, but they're boys. They're bound to do something to get into trouble. Yeah. That just happens with boys, doesn't it? Girls too, probably, but I'm used to boys because I have boys and they can be pretty rotten. But no, they were pretty good kids, and it was fun to get to spend the day with Wyatt, and he was happy that Mama was there. So that's kind of it. Things lately have been pretty busy, just winding up, you know, we got the end of the school year here. There's so many events, it seems like, towards the end of the year. Austin had a basketball camp with a shooting coach that was in town. I'm blanking on his name. He's a national shooting coach. Totally blanking on his name right now. But he had a lot of fun doing that. 3 hours of basketball. So I went and sat in the gym and knitted. I was the only mom who stayed. But I thought, I have my knitting, like, sit in the car, sit in the gym and watch. I'm going to sit in the gym and watch because I enjoy getting to watch him play. So he did really well on that and enjoyed it and had fun. The kid is obsessed with basketball. Speaking of basketball, we're super excited that the Warriors have advanced past this round. They won the sweep with the Jazz, and they are heading to the next round. Austin is beyond excited. He unfortunately can't watch the games. For one, we don't have cable. We stream everything through like Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, all of that fun stuff. Two, even if we did have cable, the games don't start until like 9 o'clock our time. And this mama makes her kids go to bed at 8. So there's no staying up to watch games on school nights. But yeah, he always asks for an update the morning after a game, and then I let him watch highlights on my phone. And so we're excited. We're obviously, I guess, Warriors fans in this house, thanks to Austin being so obsessed. We've become Warriors fans. We've become basketball fans, period, thanks to Austin's obsession. So yeah, that's pretty much all we've been doing. Basketball, school stuff. I am so ready for the summer. I know the kids are ready for summer. We're ready to kind of wind down. So yeah, we're excited. School's almost out. Summer's coming. The 26th of May is the boys' last day of school. So we are excited. We're going to be able to go spend days at the beach and at the pool. Just relax and enjoy our summer. We have no huge plans this summer, so that makes me excited because last summer we were moving here from Arizona. So last summer was not so relaxing. This summer, I'm ready to relax. Austin does have basketball all summer long. He's doing a summer league. Their first game is this coming Friday. So we're still going to be busy with basketball probably 2-3 times a week. But that's of course okay. He enjoys it and has fun, and we enjoy watching him play. So thank you guys again so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you guys spending a little bit of your day with me, and I hope that you guys have a good few weeks until I get to chat with you again. Happy knitting. Bye.